Uh, I actually watched the beginning of the episode last week, so I knew when it started, and I don't know if I just say it here like a bump on a log for like 30 seconds. So sorry, viewers, listeners. We swapped hosts. We've got Will tonight. Derek's already traveling for the holidays, I believe. And Will's back, and I think my dog's running around here, so that's a little bell you might hear. It's our cheerful Christmas bells. We'll call it that.
What kind of dog you got?
Kind of a tortoise colored one. It's supposed to be a chihuahua.
He's a dog?
She's a dog. Nah.
Just a dog.
Kind of tortoise colored and completely different that we've moved now.
Yeah. So what's on the agenda for tonight?
Oh, well, we're going to kind of, we did it last year, actually. I didn't remember us doing it last year, but we did it last year. It's kind of the Festivous episode and Christmas episode. So we might talk about some of the stuff that you should have bought us for Christmas, but you could still buy and ship to us. But we're going to we're not going to do feats of strength because look at Will. I mean, he obviously is stronger than me. He already won. Feats of strength, we'll do beard growing. Will won. Hair growing, I got it. You ought to see the mullet pictures.
Yeah, I'm out on that one.
Did I have a mullet in college? I can't remember.
No, not really. Maybe a baby mullet, but not a like a full-fledged, Billy Ray Cyrus kind of thing going on now.
And he was almost relevant back in college. So we're going to voice a few little complaints about things that might irritate us. And if you're watching in that, you can feel free to comment with your complaints and we might share those. Derek not being here, he did text over his complaint. We have a whole episode on it discussing Haggerty's takeover of the collector car world. And every concours, every car show, every aspect of it. And yeah, we'll complain about it until if McKeel would like to send us a check and buy the No Driving Gloves podcast, that's one side of the collector car hobby I could live with. I can be bought. I've always said it. I've got it tattooed on my chest. Or maybe I should get that tattooed on my chest. I was talking about tattoos the other day.
You need a tattoo, John.
And what do you think I should permanently put on my body?
I don't know. A microphone.
No, I don't think so.
A CRX.
That one could work.
Yeah.
CRX with a mini truck in the background.
Perfect. Or you go. A whole back scene.
Yeah, properly lowered mini truck that would have to be in front of the CRX, otherwise you wouldn't see it. You just get the CRX and say, "See the mini truck behind it." Oh, so Derek's is, like I said, the Haggerty, and I'm going to miss his wit and wisdom on some of the other issues. And we're not going to complain about guys hanging out in the left lane, people who can't zip and merge. Not this, I really don't want the standard stuff. Elon Musk. But I don't know what you'd complain about him. He's such a god.
There you go. Get Elon Musk's face tattooed on your back. You think he's a god?
Well, I'm not going with the next two words. No, he's not a guy. But he's still ingenious. Get a big Tesla. Get it nipple to nipple with the T.
There you go. It's kind of a
So,
the base of the T kind of like a arrow and then it kind of point.
yeah,
So
I mean,
it would point to something else.
see, perfect.
There you go. We figured out John's tattoo.
Be there at the New Year's party. Take my shirt off. Instructions.
Oh, there you go.
And that also would probably be a reason not to get it as a back tattoo.
Absolutely. Well, it depends. I mean, if that's what you're into, yeah, absolutely.
There would be a reason for it not to be a back tattoo.
Oh Lord.
So before we get heavy, I would say, do you have a light gripe, or do you just want to jump in deep?
Man, I got a bunch of light gripes, but I'd just rather go ahead and jump in with both feet with what I got to say.
Hell, let's go ahead and get wet.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that just about every place you work at has, and it's, it's negative people in the workplace. Somebody that's just always complaining and griping and nothing's good enough. And, in the industry that we're in, I hate to use the word privileged. I mean, that's not the right word. I don't really know what word I'm looking for, but to be able to build people's hot rods for a living, it's a job that people dream about. It's a job that most car guys wish they could do, is make a good living working on cars, whether it's the import guy or the hot rod guy or the drag race guy.
Well, that's what we got all the time at the museum when people would get down to the basement with us is, man, I do your job for free,
Right. I mean, I get it all the time. Matter of fact, I have a guy that comes here every day and piddles around with us. He don't ask for nothing. And he's actually a customer. He is a customer of ours that once he retired, we're like his family. He comes here every day. He may not show up till 10 or 11 o'clock and may leave at 3, but he's here every day and he doesn't get paid. He just wants to be here and be hanging out with cool people doing cool things, and even like our customers here at Big Oak, they're all car people. They're all cool car people. Yeah, they like different stuff. Some people want their car green, some want it red, some want them black. That's fine with me. I don't care. I do give my 2 cents on colors and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's their car. We want to make them happy and build them the car that they want. They also come to a hot rod shop like ours because they like our design, they like our skill set, they like the colors that we paint cars. When you get somebody that's just a negative person in a shop, as tight knit as you have to work, it affects the whole shop. And it's really hard for me to understand because I've been on both sides of it. I've worked for people, and I have my own shop, so I've seen both sides of this. This is not somebody that at 19 years old was handed a hot rod shop and said, "Here you go, make it work." I mean, I worked at several shops before I opened Big Oak, and it's just really hard for me to wrap my head around negative people in a cool shop environment. I mean, we're heated, cooled. Um, you know, if we need something to make our job easier, I go get it. Yeah, if it's a $20,000 piece of equipment, I may have to, scratch a few nickels together and come up with a little bit more. But generally speaking, if there's a piece of equipment or a tool that you need to make your job easier and quicker and more efficient, man, we go get it. So I mean, that's my biggest complaint is people get into building hot rods and drag cars and hell doing interior in hot rods, anything in the automotive industry. If it's a hands-on shop type space, you took that job because that's what you like to do. There's I have a hard time thinking there's a lot of people out there in the world that just got good at doing something with their hands in the automotive industry, whether in a hot rod shop, and they're 40 years old and they're like, yeah, I hate this crap, I ain't never liked it, but I can't go do nothing else. I don't. That would be a hard pill for me to swallow if somebody told me that. So that's my biggest complaint of the entire year, and it's a complaint that's a constant complaint. I wouldn't necessarily say at my shop, especially right now, but even the shops that I've worked in the past, it seems like there's always that one guy that just bitches and moans and complains all the freaking time, and I just, man, I don't understand that mentality. And how's that person to live with at home? That's got to be terrible.
Well, let me tell you what people like that think. Because,
is that you, John?
Oh, I thought you were yelling at me, because I think if you remember in college, I had a few gripes and whines and bitches, and
let me go back and say something. Let me go back and say something. I'm a very open-minded person. Okay. If one of my guys comes to me and has a legitimate complaint that it's something that I'm doing that I, need to improve on, and they call me out on that, not in public and whatever, but it's a nice private setting, and they're like, hey, Will, man, we really like it when you're in the body shop more, or we like it when you're gone more, whatever. You know what I mean? I will talk to that person about that problem. Very, very seldom do I get pissed off and fight mad and yell and cuss and scream. So I can take constructive criticism even from my employees. So anyway, carry on, John.
No, I was saying is, I have been. I know I have been the whiny, bitchy person who made the place uncomfortable. And like I said, at McPherson, I think it ended up with a faculty change as we left the school.
Complete faculty change. I don't think one person came back after we left.
No, we ran all the instructors off. The guy that taught automotive history stayed. I can't think of what his name was, but he really wasn't in Templeton Hall. And then I know the job I took after, I wasn't that person, but I sure as heck know who was. And then I'll probably say in the last year, 2 years at Barber's, again, I was that person. And it was probably a little bit of a relief to those guys when I finally left. But, and yeah, it got to the, like you said, I'm doing something that people will do for free. And I just lost the passion for doing it. And it just became an irritant. And it's, if you say, I started to lose it 2 years before I left barbers. That would be, I started to lose it 6 years ago now. And it's just, cars are just beginning to get fun again in the last 5 or 6 months for me. And, I worked with him for 25 plus years, and I just really needed to step back and take a break. And so sorry to all my coworkers that I've been a arse to over the years, but that's something about John. John kind of tells it like it is sometimes, or at least how John sees it. And John is always right. And John likes to talk about himself in the third person. So,
well, it's one thing if you're calling out legitimate issues, and I get that, and that's part of me being open minded. And sometimes you get stuck in a rut. I mean, that's just life in itself, and sometimes it takes somebody to kind of kick you in the butt to get you back on track, whether that's a spouse, a coworker, an employee, your parents, and
guy that holds your car note.
Right. And I get that. But just, I don't know. It's hard to be around that person. And John, you did the right thing by getting out of that situation. And I guess some people are not capable of doing what you were able to do, and that's understandable too. But just save you bitching and moaning till your car ride home, and bitch to yourself, because nobody else really wants to hear it. And just to be blunt with it, the person you're working next to don't want to hear it.
And the person at home that's making you dinner doesn't want to hear it either. So you're right.
You're exactly right. You can't really take it home. I mean, if you have a legitimate complaint, then yeah, you need to address it to your boss or whoever's over you. But just bitching and moan, just to bitch and moan, man, it drives everybody else crazy, and it makes them not want to be where they're at.
I'm going to probably say, for my biggest one, and we've touched on it in podcasts before, and I honestly don't know how Will would react to it, but I'm tired of the people that are bitching and moaning and whining and crying that the manual transmission is going away. It's technology advances, technology rolls on. You don't think that back in 1917, people driving Model Ts would have killed to have an automatic. I mean, there's a reason we don't have levers to adjust spark and advance anymore on our steering wheel, because it started to become part of the car. No, if you want pure driving, let's go back and let's, and have all of that stuff adjustable. But I saw an article yesterday or the day before that the new Cadillac CTS-V is the only four-door sedan you can buy in America with a V8 and a manual transmission. BMW doesn't offer it anymore. Mercedes doesn't offer it anymore. I don't know if the Panamera falls in the same category, but I don't know if you can get you've got to be able to get a Panamera manual transmission, I would think.
Surely.
But it's, to me, it's, automatics are a little bit better. My car now is a dual clutch, and it's nice to be automatic now and then. But when you kick the thing into sport mode and you start using the flappy paddles to change gears, it gets to be fun. And it's just, it gives you the best of both worlds. And, I think that's part of technology. Yes, cars are too bloated. Cars have too much technology in them. And that'll be one of my complaints later is the upcoming technology in cars. But I think for the diehard manual transmission people, I'm sorry, you're living yesterday. I mean, it's like say you build a house, but you don't use a table saw and you only use a handsaw through the whole thing, or you do a roof with a hammer and nails and not a power nailer. I mean, technology goes on, and yeah, there's some romanticism to, I cut this, and look at the guy that sweats like his ass off on PBS doing all hand tool woodworking. There's something to be said for that. It's cool, it's neat. There's a bit of a, like I said, romanticism about it. There's boy, I'd like to do that. The old world charm. But when it comes down to it, when you want to do something in the shop, most people, you're going to do it with power tools, or look, I'd even say kitchens. Do you want to, fire in the kitchen every night, or do you occasionally use the microwave? So that's kind of how I look at the manual transmission now. Is it was neat. It's cool. It might be nice to have on your old car, but going forward, just, face it, there's less than 30 cars sold with manual transmissions now, I think. And it's going to be, we'll probably lose 5 or 6 a year until they're gone here within a decade. And hell, within a decade, we might lose steering wheels too. But
No, I'm a straight shift guy. I mean, I like manual transmissions, but you're right. I mean, automatics have come a long, long, long way. I mean, how many race cars have manual transmissions? You know what I mean? I know pretty well all your drag race cars. Not at the professional rankings, but all of them are automatics. But I will support a manual transmission. Always have, always will. One of my favorite drag racing events now is the Southeastern Gassers. Is that what it is? Southeastern Gassers.
mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got their own. I mean, hell, they're 8 or 9 races a year now. Has to be a 4-speed. Kind of taking it back to the way it was, back in the day. I'm a 3-pedal kind of guy, and I'm right there with Wesley. He likes 3 pedals. I like 3 pedals. So, but my wife don't want to drive a straight shift. My daughter don't want to drive a straight shift. They know how, but I would rather be able to pick my own gears whenever I want them than something else picking them.
And maybe I shouldn't ask you this question, because it's like asking Derek about that plastic 2-seat car that he's hangs out with. But most of the cars that come out of your shop now, are they not automatics, especially on the show circuit? I'm assuming the Rocket Racing Wheels Camaro is a manual, but I would assume a lot of the stuff that comes out of your shop, even though it's 6, 8, 900 horsepower, are still automatics.
No, it's about 50-50 right now. This time last year, I only had like 1, maybe 2 cars in the shop that were automatics. Got a truck. We hadn't decided if it's going to be an automatic or straight shift yet. The Nomad is an automatic. We got a little hot rod we're building in here. It's a manual. We've got a Camaro in the shop. It's a manual. Got a Trans Am in the shop. It's a manual. Corvette in the shop, automatic. Impala that we've just started is an automatic. Impala at interior shop's a straight shift. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty well 50-50 right now. But we've built more standard manual transmission cars than we have automatic cars.
I guess that kind of surprises me, but okay, I guess that
Now
just kind of
the
surprises me.
Cadillac, well, the Cadillac's an automatic. It's actually got one of the new 10 speeds in it. So,
I mean, one of the
and
new
man,
Ford 10
I'll be on.
speeds.
Yeah, the Ford GM 10 speed. Yeah, and I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. It's impressive. It's really really impressive. So, but I mean, if I had a Cadillac, a big Cadillac like that, it'd be an automatic, I'm sure. um, and the people that own the Nomad, yeah, you're right. The black and white 57, it's a manual transmission car. The people with the Nomad, they have several cars that are manual transmissions. They're big Harley riders, so those are manual transmissions. So they like manual transmissions. But with the way that the Nomad's being built, an automatic just serves the purpose of that car better than a manual.
Well, do you have another thing you want to complain about or anything else bothering you? Yeah, that won't get us sued.
I can't really think of nothing right off the top of my head that's just really been bugging me. So I'm pretty complaint free right now. So I could, yeah, you know what? I do got something I want to complain about. So there's a U.S. federal highway that runs right in front of our shop. The shop's actually on its U.S. Highway 278. I don't know how many people have died on 278 this year on the 2-lane section, which is where our shop is. There's about a 10-mile section that's still a 2-lane between Hoax Bluff and Piedmont. Last week, 21-year-old kid ran off the road, overcorrected, head-on collision, and wound up dying. And it really really sucks to see. I mean, there's probably five. I'm going to say five, probably people that have died in that section in the last couple of years at least. And if it was 4-laned, I bet none of those would have happened. And it's just frustrating, to be working and you hear fire trucks and ambulances, running that way, and something's happened on 278. And it's really not that bad of a road. It's a good road. And I mean, that's just something that needs to be done. A road needs to be 4-laned, and I don't know who drags their feet about it. I'm sure it's the state of Alabama, but it's frustrating to see other areas around you getting 2 lanes turned into 4 lanes, and they're just safer to travel. The speed limit can stay the same, or they could increase it, and it's still going to be a safer road to travel. When that road was built, I don't know, probably in the 30s, it's still just kind of curvy and travels people's property lines. It's just time to, as cars drive faster, and of course they stop better and all too, but a car, if you run off the road and overcorrect, I guess eventually we'll have cars that drive themselves, but yeah, that's a complaint of mine is to seeing wrecks like that happen in a stretch that's been happening for a long time. It's not like it's just been the last 5 or 6 years. And they've talked about 4-laning it since my dad was a kid, and nothing, they've come out here and surveyed and all sorts of crap, and it'll get hot, and then all of a sudden it gets kicked off, the drawing board. So there's another complaint.
I say, unfortunately, it all gets to politics and who's in office and things like that. And unfortunately, there's how many, so many people have to die before we'll even consider it. And it's a high price to pay to sometimes do simple logical traffic improvements. I mean, I think we all are familiar with a road that could be improved, or an intersection that could be improved, or something that when they improved it, it was so stupid. I was listening to a podcast, might have actually been today probably was. And one of the complaints on it was stop signs and four-way intersections, that everything should become a roundabout. We shouldn't have to stop. We should be able to. I mean, yes, I understand Americans have a little bit of trouble with roundabouts and are a little confused, but as they become more and more prevalent, people are going to learn to use them and use them properly. And it's just going to speed up everything. You're going to eliminate rear end collisions. You're going to eliminate, T-bone collisions. I say, I got in trouble a couple of months ago for running a stop sign and didn't even realize I did it. And the cop was behind me, and I knew the cop was behind me. So it's, just one of those things. I wasn't paying enough attention, blew through a stop sign. I should have known it was there. But if it was a roundabout, and that section of road actually has a roundabout on it. So, I mean, it just happens to be, I was on the section that had a stop sign. So I'm in total agreement with you.
You would have just ramped and ran through the middle of the roundabout.
Yeah, like that little Mazda on the GIF that's all over Facebook.
Oh yeah, that thing went way airborne.
So, and I'll be honest, I did that. It'll be 90 or 91 coming back from my grandparents. I think on Christmas, I was driving my black Isuzu pickup, and I don't know if I fell asleep or I just didn't realize the intersection, and it was a T intersection, and I was on I was not on the crossroad. I was on the T that would cross, and I better turn right or left. Fortunately, the other side of the road was a dirtish gravel tractor road, so that when I flew through and launched off the road and landed, I had a little bit of area to slow down and didn't get killed. And my ex-wife might have actually been with me before she was my wife on that one. But so I don't know if a roundabout would have helped me there, but I maybe would have had the video like the Mazda if we had all the close.
Oh.
The one that's irritating me, and it's coming into play as we speak, is this technology BS on cars. It started with satellite radio, that will give you satellite radio free for 12 months. And then if you want it, you've got to pay for it. And on my Fusion, I had Ford Pass or something where I could have remote start and all this stuff through the app on my phone, and it monitored, everything. And since it was transmitting it to my phone, I know damn well it was transmitting it to Ford, tire pressures, oil change intervals, just them nannying and watching too much. But after 6 months or a year, guess what? It became a pay service. So not only did you pay for the option of remote start, now you're paying for the privilege of having the option of remote start. And it seems to be becoming more and more prevalent that manufacturers are putting these neat electronic toys and features on your car only to take them away from you unless you want to give them $495 or $995 a month. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he drives a Nissan, and it came with this remote keyless entry thing. And when it expires, it's going to, get it free for a year, and then it's $795, $895 a month, so that he can still have his remote keyless entry. That stuff's sell it to me once. And I'm just sick and tired of the subscription model for everything. But sell it to me once, or be very, very clear that you're going to take it away from me so I don't get used to using it. And then what I've recently read in a few articles is now, Tesla does all these updates online, and, they gave you Santa Claus mode this year. And last year they gave you something that made it sing and dance. And then there's fart mode and all these things that, they send to your car. It updates overnight. Next time you get in it, everything's changed. And other manufacturers are getting to that. The BMW does over the air updates, Mercedes does. And the thought is, if it's not already happening, is, we'll give you this update, but it's going to cost you $195. Or we're going to give you this, we can make your car do this, but it's going to cost you $495. And it's just it's kind of annoying. Yeah, I don't have to buy a new car, but you're going to send me a letter every month or put something up on my dashboard. For $495, you can have, let's say in my Mini, I would kill to have Apple CarPlay, but I don't want to do all the work that it requires to change the in-dash. But if it actually could get an over-the-air update, maybe I would want it, but do I really want to pay for it? And then we know damn well the reminder's never going to go away. Every time I start the car, it's going to remind me, you can have Apple CarPlay for $995. And it's going to do that until I decide to buy it or sell the car. And I know what's going to happen in my case. Matter of fact, I need to get a tire.
You're going to get rid of it.
I need to get a tire for this car, and it's taken over a week. It's time to buy a new one. So that's a big gripe that I have that I don't think people are aware of, that these I'm tired. I guess you can, not only cars, I'm tired of subscriptions. Let me buy it once, I'm done with it. Sit down and add up all of your subscriptions. I guarantee you your streaming services cost you more than that cable that you cut the cable with. And we kind of addressed the people don't know what it means to merge. That is, people need to learn the zipper thing, but we weren't, that's just kind of an everyday gripe that you hear every day. I'm trying to read this next one.
We need to have Johnny on the show.
We could do that again.
Yeah, we need to get Johnny back.
Yeah. The funny thing about this, and I'm of course a little bit into not the green movement, but the electrification of cars. And, I'm behind the technology, and it's so tempting to really want one of the new Ford Lightnings, things like that. But what was the conversation I was hearing? And we whine about pollution and green and do all of this stuff. And the average person puts out, it's like 3/4 of a ton, 1 ton of carbon, or that's our carbon footprint on an annual basis. And good old Amazon Jeffy's rocket launches put 100,000 tons of carbon per launch. And, there's 5 people on there. So it's 20,000 tons of carbon, per launch, per person. And yeah, I'm not going to say Musk's rockets don't do it. NASA's rockets don't do it. But isn't Musk's actually progressing our space? Isn't NASA putting satellites up and, all of this? Their rockets are serving a purpose. Jeff's flying penis, all it seems to be is a roller coaster joyride. Is he really doing anything? So we, let's quit talking green until we maybe, I think he has to get permission to launch that rocket through a government agency. Why are we approving it? You know, I had to sell my Learjet because it polluted too much, but he can fly, you know, he can take joyrides to space with his famous friends. But Jeff, if you are giving rides away for free, I will take one. But
oh Lord, that was funny.
That was true.
Oh, I can't say I would go. No.
I'd go to space in a second. I would probably really consider not going to Mars, but I'd go to space in a second.
Yeah.
I'm whatever it takes, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes.
If I want to see what it looks like, I'll just go to Google Earth and look at it.
Well, Google Earth's looking down at the Earth. In space, I just want to see off into the vast darkness.
Just walk outside right now, John.
Well, as people know that watch, I do half this podcast with my eyes closed anyway, so I guess I am just gazing at the darkness.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the whole forcing the green movement down everybody's throat's a crock of crap. I mean, what's it take to mine lithium? You know, what's the carbon footprint of those big diesel earth movers out there and dump trucks and semi trucks and just to mine lithium? You know, that's a pretty big carbon footprint right there.
Well, it's always, yeah. You know, what does it take? And that machinery is polluting and doing that. But then we forget to get that machinery there. We've had machinery to transport the machinery there polluting, and then right. to create the machinery that's there and the machinery that got the stuff there were polluting, you know, in the factories. And then in order to get the materials to the factories, we're bringing it in by train or trucks or whatever. So we're polluting there. And then we're mining it again. It's just a big circle of pollution.
That's all it is. and I mean, what's the realm for disposal of all these lithium ion batteries that are going to be going bad in all of these cars? I mean, I know they're in our cell phones and everything else that's battery powered, but you know, I mean, that can't be very good for the environment either.
You know, the funny answer, the joke answer is, we'll just ship it to China. We don't care. But China's only so big. I mean, it's just going to be people walking in a maze of, you know, 1 billion people walking in a maze of lithium batteries. But, you know, we're at least getting to the point where the batteries are becoming recyclable, and then they can reuse them or whatever they're going to do with them, that they're not going to go to waste and have to go to a landfill or be loaded on a rocket and launched into space, which is probably going to put 100,000 tons of carbon out and probably pollute more than all of those cars would with the batteries.
As I'm drinking out of a styrofoam cup.
Now, that is a bitch I have. That is a supreme bitch that I have, because occasionally I go to McDonald's and I get my drink in a styrofoam cup from them. You know, sometimes it's their waxy paper cups. Sometimes it's styrofoam. If they can be selling drinks in a styrofoam cup, where the hell is my McDLT? I want my hot side hot, my cool side cool. And the reason they stopped it is because they couldn't do the foam containers.
Oh, Lord.
Now, you can't eat that in my car, to bring it back to the automotive world, because they're kind of messy when you're trying to put them together. But still, you know, just a little note that if they can sell styrofoam cups now, we can go back to the McDLT packaging.
McBLT.
So remember William the Refrigerator Perry? Yeah.
I do. Big dude.
Well, I don't think he would be considered big in the NFL today, but back in 84,
Average.
85. Yeah.
Yeah, average.
So what one thing, to put this in this on a cheery note, what one thing do you want for Christmas that's automotive related? And I think you've asked for, Miller shaping tools or stuff in the past, but what one thing would Will want, not necessarily for the shop, but what would Will want in his personal life, automotive?
Well, Will would like for Johnny McDevitt from Blueprint to be like, hey, we want you to put this LS3 in your Tahoe and give me an LS3 and a 4L65 or 4L70, whatever, and say, hey, put this in your Tahoe and we'll love you forever. That would be an awesome Christmas gift right there.
Do we have a commenter that you said could help us with that?
Wesley wants some big sticky tires for his Corvette that he's starting to autocross a good bit here lately. So I think he's got him some wheels on the way. He just needs some sticky tires to go on it.
I don't like big sticky tires. They get my hands dirty. But what's funny, and it happened many, many times at barbers, we go out and do our parade laps and our track laps and whatever during events, and we come back in these race cars with the big wide slicks. And we did push the cars. I mean, we weren't running Formula One cars at Formula One speed, but we were running them. And people, we'd bring them back in, and somebody, sure as the day is sunny, would sit down on one of the tires in tan pants. And when they get up, you can kind of picture what their behinds look like. It was, they had a nice print of the tire stuck to them, and it's never going to come out.
No.
Oh, and I'm somebody, I'm always somebody that I say it's impossible to buy me presents. And, because I buy whatever the hell I want. I mean, I want a, way to charge my computer in my car, I'll go buy that. I want cool stripes, I'll buy that. I want wheels, I'll buy that. I don't wait. I shop for months but don't tell anybody, and then I just do it. But I don't know how to say this without telling the whole story. But I met somebody, and she got excited the other day when I visited her house because my birthday's coming up, and she had bought me a birthday Christmas present thing. And I don't know if anybody's got me a better present. So what would I want? She's been going back and listening to No Driving Gloves. And I get these things, texts that talk about my dainty wrists, or my, let's see here. Oh, well, the one that she really got amazed at is my love of pink cars and Mary Kay pink cars, and the fact that I want a Mary Kay car collection. So I just have to plug that. Can we put this on the camera? I got this Mary Kay Bank vintage pink Cadillac from her the other day. And it's probably the best present I've received in a long time. So what do I want? I don't know. I've got my Mary Kay pink Cadillac. I'm kind of taken aback that I've got such a cool present. So there's nothing that I want now. I have my pink car collection. And I also look at that as I'm going to keep her around because she's given me permission to. She started my pink car collection. Now it's just going to grow to full-size cars.
There you go. You gotta get her something new to drive every day of the week. A pink car to drive every day of the week.
Well, she has this, it's a sporty looking 4-door sedan in a lighter color. And it wouldn't be that hard to, wrap it in that nice Mary Kay pink or highlight it in that Mary Kay pink. Of course, I also think the same thing about my Mini. I mean, I really like the silver white that it is, but my Mini would look so cool wrapped in Mary Kay pink too. So
please don't do that, John. Please.
Well, when I come up to drop off what we talked about today, I'll pull up in my Mary Kay pink Mini and see if you even open the door.
You park it down the road, and I'll send somebody to come get you. All right.
As I'm coming down the drive, park to the right, which on going to Will's shop is a lake. So
pull in there real deep, hit it hard.
And that almost happened to me today. I'm sitting in a retail lot, and my car's pulled forward into the spot, and there's a car parked directly across from me. And then, you know how parking lots work: car. Fortunately, between me and the car across, it's one of the areas that has a little bit of grass, and so you've got a curb and then some grass, and obviously the curb. And I'm sitting there doing the last of my paperwork, and then all of a sudden I hear ka-tunk, and the parking spot next to me, the lady across from me had put her car in drive and drove over till she high-sided her car and was stuck on the grass. And that wonderful, nice lady would have creamed my car. You know? Yeah. So I guess I end it with a bitch. I'm sorry about that. But bit of bad news. We're not going to do a show next week. John gets old next week. It will be my 50th birthday party. Our 50th birthday party will be in January. So I've elected not to do a show. I'm traveling and stuff. So this is the final show of No Driving Gloves for 2021. And we'll see and talk to you, everybody, the first Wednesday in January of, I don't know nobody wants you to say 2022 because it's like a sequel, but 2022, whatever we want to call it. So, Will, you have a Merry Christmas. Derek, I know you're out there. Sean, you're out there somewhere too. We haven't had, I don't know if you've even made a podcast this year, but all the guests that we had.
I actually talked to Sean today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So I just wanted the guests that we had on this year. Thank you. We're stepping up to, again, take this a lot more serious going into next year. I've got some plans for the show. I say that all the time, but we'll probably do our first of the year reflection show and goal show next time around. So thanks to all the commenters tonight. And we will. Oh, I'm sorry. I read Amanda Meadows is I'm getting vintage air for the 55. She's like getting vintage air for the tires for her 55. But I know what she means now. Obviously, I'm done for the year. Yes. So I'm done for the night. I'll talk to you later, Will. Talk to you later, everybody.
Adios.
As we sit here while all the buttons get pushed.